Hello, church. My name is Pastor Walter. I am here with you on Good Friday. As we are beginning this day, I want to remind you we do have a Good Friday service this evening. We are partnering with a few other local churches to put on this service. You'll hear from other pastors in our community, and they're going to be teaching on 7 sayings of Jesus. So that'll be live this evening at 7 p.m. on Facebook. You'll also find that on our website as well. I want to encourage you guys to tune in for that. Now, today we're going to be talking about the trials of Jesus, and as Pastor Brian concluded with yesterday, Jesus' story on Thursday ends with him in a Garden of Gethsemane, and as he is there, he is praying, and in this time of prayer, we see that the chief priest and their militia, if you will, come forth to arrest him. And as they arrest him, they then take him into a series of mock trials, and these trials are not intended to be fair, impartial trials. The goal is to conclude with a guilty verdict. That these men want to see Jesus crucified. They want to see him dead and buried. And the goal of these trials is simply to verify and ensure that that happens. And so he goes through these mock trials, and even as he concludes this, he goes through these mock trials with these Jewish leaders, and as they wrap up their time, they must take him before the Roman leader, Pontius Pilate. And he goes before Pilate, and he must be found guilty before him, because the Jews cannot execute a prisoner. They cannot execute anyone without the authority of the Roman government. And they bring him before Pilate, and Pilate himself says, "I can find no guilt in this man. He's innocent." And the Jews say, "We want him to die." The Jewish leaders have cemented the reality that they want Jesus to go to the cross and die. As Pontius is looking at these men and trying to wrestle with what does he do, he even offers a deal, one that perhaps in his mind he thought was a fair bargain, one to ensure that he was not going to have to kill an innocent man. He says to them, "Would you rather execute Jesus, this one you call Christ, or would you want to execute this man Barabbas, this rebel, this man who has led the Jewish people in rebellion against the Roman Empire?" And the crowd that is gathered together, they say, "We want Barabbas. Give us this rebel. Give us this man that we know is guilty. Give us this man who has committed crimes. Give us this man who we know is not innocent, and let Jesus die." And so, with that, Pontius says, "Be done." And we see these trials of Jesus conclude with him going forth as an innocent man, having committed no wrongs, having committed no crimes, but being sent to the cross as one who is guilty, as one who is going to pay the debt for the things that he has done. And so as we conclude this look at the trials, tonight we're going to hear about the actual death of Christ. And as we conclude these trials, I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that as Jesus has gone forth an innocent man, he died an innocent man to pay for the debt of our sins. And tonight as you watch our Good Friday service, I pray that you're encouraged that on this Friday 2,000 years ago, Satan and his forces' intent was that it would be a bad Friday for us. One that there was no hope, one that there was lostness, one that we were to sit here and mourn. But God, in his goodness and mercy, took what the enemy intended to be a bad Friday and turned it into a good Friday. One in which we can look back on and find hope and life in. One in which we can celebrate the greatness of Christ and celebrate his majesty, the power over life and death. So I pray this encourages you on this Good Friday. I hope that you tune in to our Good Friday service this evening, and we'll see you on Sunday morning to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. We love you guys. Have a great week.